Willkommen, bienvenue, and welcome back to Opus Magnum with Lyte. And today we've got the Courage Potion, also known as booze, hooch, alcohol of some sort or another. And it's actually pretty straightforward. We just have one little improvement to the cycles, but getting to the lowest cost and the lowest size weren't particularly difficult. So lowest cost, you just grab yourself single static arm, do a little bit of whirligig sorts of action, and you've got yourself a product, wiggle its way into the bin. Now, it doesn't have to go all the way over here. I mean, there's no need for it to go further than this. You could optimize the cyclage for salting the thing. All of this could be optimized for cyclage, but we're just here for the cost. We just made a thing using the one arm. It could be made better. I am not known for optimizing cycles at the lowest cost or at the lowest area. That isn't what I tend to go for, at least not yet. I might eventually get there. But at the moment, I'm working on just getting these global records such that we know how they're achieved, such that we've got the skills necessary when we want to optimize a different way. Now, those of you out there who play code golf and want to do it in the minimum number of instructions, good on you. I saw one design that used 3 instructions to make the refined gold, I think it was. It was gorgeous. I love it. It's not what I'm going at right now. Might get there eventually. So, went too far. So that was our little snail solution for our super low cost. Now for the lowest area, as always, you've got one thing that does the work. Everything else is a mandatory item. And thus we know this is the minimal amount of space that could be used. And we can just click on our little current area button to make sure that we didn't go out of bounds at any point. And we didn't, so we're good to go with this. Then my initial attempt at getting the best cyclage was prior to some of the things that I learned about salting versus binding. It's pretty good because I did think to use the track, because the track does get things done faster. But this was prior to me learning that you should probably salt before you bind. Because salting after you bind usually leads to that one cycle difference that, in the end, is a bit of a problem. We did do a nice bit of overlap here, such that it isn't quite as far of a walk to get from your intermediate to your final product. But, yeah, it's not quite there. I do like using the multi-binder because that is the exact shape we've got here with our fire water. And I also like how it moves right in here with the moving over and then moving both of them up. There's a puzzle later that I think I might try to apply that to that I didn't see it working that way initially, but I think could really help. But all we have to do to fix this is to adapt when the salting happens. Because it's entirely possible to get these things salted before they even get to the binder. And then once they're here, one step from this binding into the bin and you're good to go. So we can remove that one tiny little annoying cycle by salting them prior to getting to the binder. So here and here, we can just jabam instead of grab and drop and whatever. And here we still do the grab and drop onto the salt, but prior to this, we were just doing it onto an empty hex. This way, we salt it before it even gets there. And so we generate the salt at the beginning, we move them into their positions as necessary, but we're still holding on to this one, such that we can do a quick drop after everything's bound. So we bring these 3 into position at the same time, shabam. Now it's ready to be dropped. Shabam. And it's good to go. So we're able to bind the entire product all at the same time, pre-salted, and we're salting during the time it takes to generate the rest of the main components so we don't lose any time there. And so, as always, we look at the path of the last product, and so we can do that more slowly. We're going to watch this water. It gets grabbed, it gets moved, and it gets thrown into the bin. The same is true of this fire. It gets grabbed, moved, thrown into the bin. You're not going to be doing better than that. And so this 26 is the best you're going to do. And the global record backs us up on that. But you still want to be thinking about this, because for things in the workshop or things that are new to the journal might not have reliably reported global records yet, because there aren't a whole lot of people that have finished it, and they've got some anti-cheating mechanisms that could have false reports where not that someone submitted something that was cheaty and it's showing up wrong, it's that someone submitted something honest, but there's not enough data to verify it. And so this global record might be higher than even the best thing that you've found. So it's still good to think about how to figure out your lower bound on cycles, even with the existence of the global records. You still want to just think it through and be like, what needs to happen? And you need to pull out of these sources as fast as you're able, and the last one needs to go into the bin as soon as possible. And just that move and drop, you're not doing better than move and drop. You're really not. But that's the courage potion for you. It is really quite simple, really quite straightforward, and you can optimize it without too much trouble. It'll be interesting to see what you can do with combined metrics to make fast solutions that aren't quite so pricey, because we've got a lot of extra arms in here that contribute to the speed. And if you're able to cut back on particularly this up here and still get it done pretty darn quick, you can likely get a better composite score. But we'll work on that later. Next time, we'll either continue on to the surrender flare, which is quite an interesting one. Haven't exactly optimized it completely just yet. Or we might go back to some of the ones that we didn't do quite so well on before, like the precision machine oil. If you have an inclination one way or the other, feel free to let me know down in the comments. If you've got a really fun or interesting courage potion solution, feel free to share it in the comments over on Twitter or on Discord. That's all I've got for this episode. I will see you in the next episode of Opus Magnum with Lyte.